What you're feeling, this weight, this emptiness, it has a name. But even more than that, it has a lineage. It's been felt by emperors, monks, poets, warriors, people who changed history, and people who faded quietly into it. We call it depression now. But centuries ago, they called it melancholia, or the dark night of the soul. To the Stoics, it was part of the inner terrain, a landscape to be walked through, not escaped from. So this video is not about curing you. It's not about positive thinking or pretending that everything is fine. It's about remembering. Remembering what the ancient philosophers knew, that beneath the heaviness, beneath the spiral of thoughts, there is a deeper you, a quiet, solid flame. Let's go back to the beginning. Not of your pain, but of your power. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke. Marcus Aurelius, that was written by a man who commanded the Roman Empire, a man who buried children, fought plagues, endured betrayals from those closest to him, and still, he wrote those words. Marcus Aurelius did not write to the world. He wrote to himself in a private journal never meant to be read, because even an emperor needs to remind himself that the mind can lie, that sadness can grow large when left unexamined, that we have more power over our perception than we've been led to believe. In his writing, we see something profound. He doesn't try to fix his emotions. He observes them. He studies them. He meets them like ancient teachers with wrinkled faces and hard lessons. Don't run. He seems to whisper across time. Look, be still, and then decide. The mirror of philosophy doesn't hide your darkness. It reflects it back so you can understand it, like a map showing the terrain of your soul. And sometimes, just seeing what's happening inside you breaks the spell of despair. To the Stoics, to the alchemists, to the mystics and sages of every forgotten age, pain wasn't a curse. It was a crucible, a sacred chamber where raw matter, your thoughts, your fears, your heaviness, could be broken down, purified, and remade. The ancients believed the mind itself was an inner laboratory, and depression was the smoke rising when the fire gets too hot, a sign. A transformation underway. In alchemy, this stage is known as nigredo, the blackening, the descent, the breaking apart of what no longer serves you. It is not the final stage. It is the beginning. In this darkness, the alchemists would wait. They'd observe the reaction. They'd tend to it. They'd trust the process. They didn't panic. They didn't call themselves failures. They understood that the great work always begins in the unknown. And that's what Stoic philosophy teaches us too. Not to suppress the feeling. Not to label it as bad. But to watch it with curiosity, like a wise scientist watching the fire shift color in his flask. What is this feeling made of? Where did it come from? And what part of me is trying to rise through? This isn't about silver linings. It's about sacred transformation. The only way out is through. So what can you actually do? How do you meet your pain, not just in theory, but in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon when you feel like you're sinking? The ancient philosophers didn't just offer lofty ideas. They gave us practices, small, repeatable actions that keep us rooted when the mind begins to spiral. Here are 4 tools, drawn from ancient wisdom, designed for a modern world. 1. Name the storm. Start by writing, not with the intention of being profound, not to be productive, but to get the noise out of your head and onto paper. Marcus Aurelius wrote daily to himself. Seneca, Epictetus, Lao Tzu all use language as a mirror. When you feel the fog rising, ask, what am I feeling? What triggered this? What belief sits beneath this pain? You're not writing to solve. You're writing to see too. Return to the body philosophy can't live in the mind alone. The Stoics knew this. They walked often. They trained. They breathe with awareness. Even a 10-minute walk, eyes off the screen, feet touching earth, can pull you out of looping thought and back into the present. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Your body doesn't lie. Go there. 3. Reduce what you carry. Sometimes depression isn't a chemical storm. It's a rational response to too much. Too many tabs open mentally, emotionally, digitally. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Close the unnecessary tabs. Say no more often. Don't apologize for needing less. This is not laziness. It's conservation. It's discipline. 4. Sit with yourself 10 minutes. No phone, no music, no productivity hacks, just sit. This is where the real work happens, where emotion meets breath, where the ego dissolves into observation. At first, it's uncomfortable, but then it becomes a kind of homecoming. The ancients believed the divine lived in stillness. The logos, the Tao, the spark of awareness behind thought. When you sit with yourself, you stop running from yourself, and eventually you realize you were never the enemy. These aren't tricks. They're rituals. And when practiced daily, they become the architecture of your inner temple. There's a concept that runs through nearly every ancient wisdom tradition. The Stoics called it the logos, the divine spark of reason and order inside every human. In the East, it's the Tao, the ever-flowing path that lives within you. The alchemists called it the prima materia, the raw essence of the soul, hidden beneath all appearances. They believed that no matter how dark the world became, no matter how lost or numb you might feel, this inner flame never goes out. It may dim. It may get buried under years of noise, pain, and self-doubt. But it waits, and sometimes, just sometimes, depression is not a failure of the mind, but a call from that flame, a flicker that says, what you've been doing is no longer working. Who you've been pretending to be is not who you are. Come back to me. Let's begin again. This is not spiritual fluff. It's not just poetry. It's biology, philosophy, and psychology braided into one truth. You are not your sadness. You are the one who sees it. And the moment you remember this, the moment you feel even a whisper of that sacred flame, something shifts. The spiral loosens, the mind slows, and for a brief second, you realize you are still here. And that is enough to begin. You live in a time that moves too fast, asks too much, and gives too little silence every hour. Someone somewhere tells you who to be: more productive, more attractive, more okay. But what if your sadness is not a malfunction? What if it's an ancient invitation to step out of the noise and remember what's real? Real presence, real breath, real peace. You are not weak for feeling what you feel. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are a mystic born into an age that forgot mysticism, a philosopher, taught to doubt your own thoughts, but never how to sit with them. You are the modern version of those who came before you, walking a different world, but facing the same inner storms. So pause, light a candle, turn off the feed, return to your breath, and pick up where Marcus, Seneca, and Epictetus left off. This is the beginning of your great work, not to become someone else, but to remember who you've been all along. No tree becomes rooted and sturdy unless many a wind assails it. Seneca, let this be your wind. Let this be your turning. You are not your pain. You are the one transforming through it. Subscribe for more ancient tools for the modern soul. Stoicism, alchemy, inner strength. Philosophy that lives.